Hi, camera.
Hi, Cameron.
Um, okay, so today we're gonna be doing our midweek meeting on Wednesday. I'm gonna broadcast this one. We've been doing this for the past like 3 weeks. Satori's here. He's new. Commander John is here. Um, by the way, anybody that is interested in joining Satori that you want to have come to these meetings, it's open. We have it so the non-developers are muted, but everybody's welcome. We have these meetings Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4. So if anybody wants to come and have input on like the game and whatnot, then it's open. You can go to the Discord and it's there. In fact, if you wanted to, you could have people come right now. All right, so today we're gonna be going over. Oh, also, hold up. I'm gonna set this
Should
up.
I mute John since he's not technically a developer
No,
yet?
no, no. He's cool. You can keep him because he's a programmer and he's perspective.
I did not mute him. He muted himself. So.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, he said he was going to mute himself. I think he said. I mean, we're having a meeting. That he said he was going to stick around for. Let me set this up. I'm going to keep these. Obviously, these live streams are going to be unlisted, or like we're going to have it so it's easier for me to stream this so it like stays afterwards. But I'm going to keep these archived, so just make sure you keep the link, because obviously it's not going to show up on my channel, because I don't want just to have a shit ton of random things there.
It might be nice to broadcast them eventually.
Oh, no, we're totally broadcasting this one. There's totally people watching this one. But it's still going to be unlisted.
I'm saying, like, in the future, it might be nice to list them. Like, people might get really
Oh.
interested in what we're doing.
Maybe. I feel like I would want to do another channel for that. Well, so here's what I'm going to do. In fact, if anybody wants to, they can go to, I think I'm going to start having it so these are on the Steam page. So I'm going to, like, post announcements and, like, what we cover during the meeting. So then you can just, it'll be there. So anyways. All right, so global agenda. Today we have Cubba, Glazed, and Lexi. I think Lucas is busy today, so he can't show up. Lucas is our artist, for people that don't know. Today we're going to be going over this week's progress so far. We usually have these meetings 3 times a week, so we've been having them for a while. We're going to go over last week's meeting. In fact, I'm going to do that. Or Monday's meeting. We're going to go over because I think a new patch is going to be coming out here soon. I want to go over a lot of the bugs that we need to have reported. Also, anybody that also has bugs that they've found in the current version of the game, make sure you tell us. Or you can like list it on the forums or do whatever you need to do there. And then we're going to also talk about like design and whatnot. So let's see. Let's go over that. Let's first let's discuss the current patch build of Iron Armada, fixes that we I guess this delegated last week, and discuss the timeline and pipeline for a new patch. Well, I'll say fix patch to be distributed. And then we're also going. Let me go over last week's meeting. So we've got the net. Does anybody want to talk about networking today, or do you want to leave that to Friday? Cubba, do you want a couple more days to work on that?
I have a lot of advice on networking.
Yeah,
I've made distributed systems before. I kind of know a little bit about
Let's
it.
do that again. Discuss networking solutions and the progress on last meeting's topics. Get new input on new optimization methods and their feasibility. So we've got the 5 methods that we were discussing last week. I will say discuss progress on oxygen systems and
Do we have a design doc or specifications for the oxygen system?
We actually, I just posted the Steam announcement. Or we don't have a design document, but
I'll write it.
Yeah, we just.
Probably you're super quiet.
Yeah, he's on his phone. We'll discuss that.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Build the design document for the new feature. We have what we discussed about it last time, so we'll go over how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
So yeah, and let's see what else. I don't want to go over single player implementation this week. We'll leave that to next week. We don't have to go over weapon penetration today. So I'm gonna leave those at my 3. Does anybody else have any other? Does anybody else have any other things that they want to? This could be anybody. Suggest topics that you want to go over today. Lexi, do you have anything else that you want to discuss?
I'm just kind of getting back on my feet. I was kind of knocked off my ass for a few days.
I know. What did you have?
Just a cold or a flu or something.
Oh yeah. You want to go over AI today, Kaba?
Yeah.
Discuss AI systems and drone mechanics, their progress and implementation. All right, we can talk about that. Satori, do you have anything you want to talk about? I know you said Satori actually. So Satori just posted a huge suggestion. In fact, if anybody, I know that. Damn it, I don't get to the forums here. I'm trying to. There we go. View discussions. We posted in the suggestions section. So if anybody wants to go check this out, go check that out. There's a huge suggestion post that he just made. So I know some people are going to enjoy looking at that. Discussing progression. In what sense? Yeah, we can do that. Discuss. Well, so I will say that obviously, like, we still do those votes on like what we're going to be doing in the future for designs and stuff like that. So a lot of that is up in the air depending on what the community tries to like push the game towards. But yeah, we can discuss that. Discuss general roadmap, features, and get community input on the kind of gameplay mechanics that they would like to see. Oh, Donkey's here. Hey, Donkey. In the game, in addition to the planned mechanics that are already planned for the game, that, I gotta say, development. Alright, so we can discuss that. Anything else? Anything else that anybody wants to go over?
Have you talked to Cammy? Is Cammy
No.
on that server?
I need to talk to Kaba.
I haven't hit him up either. I forgot to harass him.
Oh, Kaba. I would make this point, but I'm just going to tell you. You still have an outstanding contract that you need to sign for the share deal.
Oh, Drake, can you link the
Oh,
minutes?
I'm sorry. I will get to that.
Yeah, that's fine. Link what, Lexi?
Link the minutes.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, I got you. 1 second. I keep forgetting that I have to do that every time. There we go. There's the meeting minutes. IA chat. Here, I'll post it in source code as well. Done. I'm gonna be viewing IA chat for this one as well. Yeah. By the way, if anybody wants to talk about like potential things that the community wants to see in the game, wait until agenda topic 5. I think that's it. Does anybody have anything else they want to go over? Like big topics, because obviously we'll get into the. I think that's it. That's it. I think we've got to wrap this up. Because Kaba, when's your next class? 5?
I think it's in 1 hour.
Yeah. All right. So we'll keep this short for today then. All right. Anybody want to change the order that we go through these? I think this is good. I want to talk about the next patch build first, networking solutions second. Then we can, yeah, all right, and then good. And then we can get into all the fun stuff at the end after we get through our vegetables at the beginning. All the fun design talk and stuff at the end while we go through the infrastructure first. All right, so discuss current patch build of Iron Armada. All right, let's go through last week's discussion. All right, so server highlighting issue is fixed. Have we fixed improper close down? Because Packer is fixed now, right? Mushrooms just did a.
If Run Packer upload a dev build and check if it closes. I don't.
Okay, yeah, 1 second, I'll do that
It should
now.
close, I think, for most things. I believe Jumper said that there was still like an error, which wasn't caught by my error thing,
Yeah, 1 second, let me
but
grab.
should be fixed for most errors.
Hold up, I'm gonna take this to master. Wait, what? Oh, this is all of mushrooms. Is this master? Yes, master. Okay, hold up. Checking out master.
Yeah, there's like 100 commits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just realized.
Yeah, mushrooms fixed a lot of things. He did a good job.
Awesome.
I looked over a lot of what he did, and I approve of a lot of it.
Solid. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. While we're having this conversation, then I'm gonna go ahead and I am going. Oh, whoa! You made new bets. Interesting. On both. Oh wow. Oh yeah, he relabeled everything now. Oh god. Oh god.
As someone's been working with the old stuff, I strongly approve of this change.
Yeah, no, this is fine. I just got to think about it for a second. So what do we do? Quick dist Win64? Is that the Packer script now? Let me check.
Yes, that's the one you want.
All right, let me try this. Check the configuration files. Is it still pack and distribution? Okay. Alright, so while that compiles, we'll test and make sure that that's actually working. Happy New Year, Nikki. Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year.
What else do we have? Server command line solutions. I'm not sure if we've done that. Hey, did you check and see if we were doing garbage collection server side, Kaiba?
I'm pretty sure we're doing garbage collection because it's Java. I don't. That would be a problem for like
the only reason that came up last time is because Atlas brought it up. So,
I mean, Java has an automatic GC solution. The thing that I thought was implied by that was that the garbage collection is a very painful process when it happens, and you can normally avoid it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So I can work with somebody that understands the server architecture to make sure that we're not doing unnecessary GCs.
Yeah.
And I can also show the devs how to monitor garbage collection cycles and what's going on with them. It's actually a pretty cool system.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll leave that. Oh, I'll put that on the next point. Do a focus meeting on garbage collection systems. Lexicon has expertise that he can share.
Yeah, garbage collection and like making sure we don't hit unnecessary GC cycles was like what I did at my job. That was like the biggest thing that I was responsible for, is making sure we didn't hit those.
Okay, cool. We can do that. All right, so let me go through everything that's been fixed. So that means server, browser, selection issues have been fixed. I'm gonna wait until this is finished packing to make sure that it execute. Wait, hold on. What are we testing? Oh, the improper close down.
And the improper close down, yeah.
Right. I might have to load a config though for it. Try that. That'll take a little bit. It's a 50% compile now, so I'm just waiting for it to finish that.
Did we figure out what was keeping it open?
I think we haven't figured it out yet because we haven't tested it, but my working theory currently is that unhandled Java exceptions don't close down the Steam overlay.
Okay.
That's actually interesting. But
that is just my working theory.
That would explain why that happened so randomly and why we didn't see it. That makes sense.
I showed Mushrooms how to hook on to shutdown hooks. I can go over that as well with you guys. Yeah.
No, that actually explains a lot because that kind of came out of nowhere and I was like, I've been thinking this whole time, what did we fuck up? And I was like, why is this happening now? But that makes sense. So now that we have the Steam overlay, that's actually mucking with our ability to close it down properly, which is why that's changed, and we're not doing anything wrong. It's just a new element that we haven't
we're doing something wrong.
Well, we're doing something wrong, but it's like it's a new element that we haven't properly fixed, as opposed to something that was previously fixed that we fucked up. Because I've been this whole time.
Again, this hasn't been confirmed yet. We haven't tested whether my solution fixes it.
But that's true. I understand it, but that makes a lot more sense actually, because because this didn't used to happen, did it? I swear.
Not before.
It doesn't happen without Steam because
not before Steam
crashes.
That makes sense then. So Steam is the common denominator. Okay. Oh my God, that explains.
Yeah, it's definitely
so much.
something with Steam.
Okay. That makes so much sense. Let's see here.
Kuba, if you can check design chat, please.
Oh, Lucas is here. Yeah, hey, whole team is here. Holy shit. It's like we're actually, it's almost like we're a real fucking studio of adults that actually show up on time. Oh my God.
I was here all the time, man.
I know, I'm just fucking with fuck you, Lucas. Fuck you. Alright, so server browser selections have been fixed. I will double check and make sure that when this finishes packing, I'll test and make sure that that's working. We did fix the issue with crashing when you respawn, right? That's already been confirmed. Fixed.
Yes, that's been fixed.
Crashing when respawning has now been fixed. What else?
And just kind of like a generic, like going forward question. Whenever we fix a problem, we've identified the cause of the problem before we fixed it, right?
Kuba usually keeps that in the commit log.
Okay.
The problem was obviously a null pointer exception in a very specific case. Because the core menu was created when you die.
Yeah.
But then if you pushed a button and that core died between the time of you respawning and you pushing the button, that would just crash your client. So I simply put in a check so it wouldn't crash. It was very simple.
Yeah, it was a pretty. I mean, it was pretty. I was actually. I'm happy that that's what was happening, because it was a pretty clear bug and what the cause of it was. Let me see here. By the way, FYI, if you guys want to follow along with development, the code repository for Iron Armada is open. See, Lexi didn't say open source. See what I'm saying?
It's not open source.
There you go. I didn't say that. See, I said
I'm so proud of you, Drake.
Thank you.
Because I had to explain to Commander what open code or shared source versus open source was today.
See, there you go. So the code base,
that's like the birds and the bees talk. It's the worst.
There we go. Exactly. The code base is open. In fact, I'll go ahead and place this. I'll say, everyone, if you are interested in following development, just a reminder, our code base is open, so you can follow our commits as well as over viewing our source code. And even if you are able, you can help with development if you see something you can fix / make better. Bam, right there. So you can go to our server and you can actually see everything that everybody's doing every time somebody makes a... I mean, obviously we've had a whole bunch of people working on this game for many, many years, and you can actually go back through and see everything that everybody's done over the past 2 years. And if you're ever wondering, I wonder if they're working on Iron Armada right now, you can go and you can
also see how the systems work.
And you can see how the systems work. In fact, this is a really good learning tool. So for instance, if mushrooms, let's find a good one. So Kuba just did this fix involving integer bag. I don't know what the hell that is. What the hell is int bag?
It's a bag of integers. What do you expect?
There you go, bag of integers. But you can go here and you can see exactly what he changed where in the code. So not only can you see what he's doing, but you can kind of learn how the code base is structured.
I made both methods, but for some reason I used my own method incorrectly. I just assumed that it would never break. And then it broke.
For instance, if I were to go to commits, I can go to, I don't know, let's say, let me think, weapon. Double-checked weapon speeds, rough balancing hit. So let's say you're like, hey, I'm really interested in changing weapon speeds in Iron Armada. You can check the commits, and then, hey, look, Kuba made a change here. Where did he change that? Oh, there's a railgun TOML configuration file. You can go here and change the damage. Very easy to learn, helps with modding, helps with development, so if you want to learn how to develop, bam, there you fucking go. This is our own website, so we obviously built all of this, and, well, we didn't, sorry. We built the server, the web server, and then we host our own instance of GitLab on here, very specifically, so everybody can learn and use. This is how almost every developer of Iron Armada has been born, is just by plugging into this and just reading all day.
Do we accept pull requests?
Not yet. Now we have it kind of locked down. Or wait, you mean pull requests from people like outside the, like, can you, you mean cloning it, like cloning?
No. It's specifically a Git thing. It's called a pull request.
Where you like merge or?
No, it's
I know merge
literally
request,
called a pull request. It's called a pull request.
Right now, the way we have it structured is
committing, but it's like you need to get permission to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We have it locked down right now, so anybody can clone. But we have it set up so you have to be added to the actual project in order to make a commit. So that's usually how it goes. But I mean, anybody can just, usually the way it works is people clone it and then they'll do something and then they'll be like, hey, I did this and it works, and we'll be like, oh, that's dope, and then we'll just give them permissions to commit it. So that's usually how that goes.
Okay.
So anyways, what else? Core respawn. Alright, what is there anything else? There's this GUI issue showing improper ping. We can look into that, but that's not a high priority issue. The server, oh, actually, that is true. Everybody that was asking about hosting the server, we do have a server hosting tool. So if you own Iron Armada, you can go to Tools and just check the dedicated server tool that is now available. That's public, so you can use that if you want. There was an issue before where Steam wasn't allowing everybody to download it because it wasn't like properly published, but I think that was an error on their part because we just filed a ticket with them and said, hey, not everybody can see this, and they went ahead and fixed it. So everybody should be able to download the dedicated server tool. So there you go. And hold up, Packer is done. Go to distributions here, and we're going to test this. The EXE should work now too, right? Watch it not. Launch, my pretty. Please launch. I'm gonna laugh if it doesn't.
I'm gonna cry if it doesn't, but I mean, that's just.
Oh well, it is here. Probably just taking a while. There's two of them though. Let's try this again. I might have already been running it, and now it's not running because I've already running it. Let's try this. Go. Okay. Executable is launched. Okay. Check the server. Oh, there we go. Just took a while. I guess the first time running it. Okay, there we go. Oh, go away. And then I'm gonna Alt F4. Improper close down. Let's just see if it's gone. And it is gone. Try that again. I don't know why it takes so long to start up. Maybe because it's creating the config file? No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the startup time is kind of long now. Anybody have any idea why that would be?
I haven't done a profile on it yet, but I could. Is this for the client or the server?
It's the client. I mean, it does start up. It's just taking a bit.
How long is a bit?
I mean, you can watch it. Literally go to the live stream. Just check it. It's just, I would say, good 30 seconds to 60 seconds.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
just launched.
I can take a look into that then.
Okay. Then hold on, let me check again.
Yeah.
My stupid task manager keeps making me alt tab. And then,
yeah, I can take a look at that. I'm not terribly aware of any major changes that have happened there, so I don't think it should be.
Then let me find the process in my task manager. There it is, Iron Armada EXE, Alt F4. And it is gone. All right, cool. So that should be fixed. I'll just go ahead and write that. Hopefully it stays fixed. I guess we'll have to see if it changes, like if we distribute it through Steam, and if that like changes anything. I'm not entirely sure. Issue with improper close down has now been fixed. What else? I think that's it. You know, the cool thing is, like, that's the cool thing about actually having this be live. Like, I know some people are like, oh man, there's like 3 bugs, and we're like, dude, that is such a small amount of bugs compared to like I'm so proud. Like, there's very little.
Yeah, we only had 3.
Like,
I had
shit,
software hooked up to the fucking stock market with more than that.
All right, so yeah, so that's good. That's basically everything. So here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what we need to do. Here, I'll just say, put these up one, and then issues that have been fixed, and then I'm gonna say, so what we need to do is, and this is gonna be, we need to, I know that this is like the writing's been on the wall for this, so I know that this is kind of my problem, but we really do need to, I really like the way that Lexi has been doing his branches and stuff like that, and I think we really need to figure out like how we handle branches, because now we've got these main things stable, so we should do like kind of like a feature freeze with master right now. I don't know if have we implemented anything that is unstable or changed gameplay mechanics in master?
Literally everything that hasn't been verified is should be considered unstable and like world burning.
So I can't think of anything that we've added, but we'll have to look at that, because what I would like to do
just like from this point forward, any unverified commit.
Yeah. Wait, what cover? Yeah. What did you say?
I added several things which haven't been fully tested yet, and I have bugs in it. So
which things?
The bullet penetration system for one.
Okay, hold up. Outstanding implementations in master, weapon penetration prototype. Anything else?
I believe I refactored the human thing.
Right, human refactor.
Yeah,
that was human system refactor, right? Human system.
Yeah, I completely deleted the human system refactor and reworked
human system refactor. What else? Is there any other outstanding implementations?
I think that's it. The rest have been all like.
I think that's it. Yeah, we've been pretty good about this. So here's what I kind of want to do, and we're gonna have to figure out a better way to do this.
People have been reporting a bug with the give and /give ID command.
Yeah. What is it?
So I want to double check both of those commands, because they use.
But
it's
that's
kind of bad. They should probably. But it's those 2 commands are public. They're for giving scrap to other players.
Interesting.
So I want to make sure, because I think like it might be a situation like give is fixed, but then like give ID is broken.
Okay.
It's like weird. So I'd like to make sure we look over that.
Outstanding issues. Archon give command functioning improperly. Any other bugs that are outstanding that are either a worry or a concern? Here, somebody post in IA chat. Do we have any outstanding bug reports? I'll check the forums as well. I don't think anybody's posted in the forums yet. Hold up, let me check that. Here, for anybody, seriously, like, go here and then go to bug reports. If you have any bugs, please put them here. We actually have another bug report section on the main forums. IA bug reports, spam. See, this is fixed. What is this? I think this is fixed. Oh yeah, that's fixed. See, these are all fixed. I should like go through these and count them as fixed.
Medbay having a weird like physics thing.
Fixed. Yeah, these are all fixed. So
die in a cockpit. Is it fixed already?
Where the game crashes in between rounds. So the game crashing in between rounds, we are pretty sure is this bug. It's not crashing in between rounds. It's only crashing when you're dead in between rounds.
Yeah. That's what I tried to reproduce.
Or more specifically, it's crashing when you're dead, and then you respawn before the round ends in between rounds. Because basically what happens is if you die... In fact, I'm pretty sure this can happen even before the end of the round. If you are alive while a core is alive, and then you are killed, you will come up with a respawn option to respawn at that core. And if the core is destroyed before you respawn, and you select to respawn on the core that doesn't exist anymore, it'll crash. So obviously the vast majority of times that this happens is at the end of the round when a team is getting like slaughtered, and then the round ends and the core's gone and all of these people are respawning, and then they press the respawn button or it automatically respawns them to a core that doesn't exist anymore, and then it crashes. We've fixed that.
Is the automatic... I haven't tested this crash occurring automatically, so I would like to double test that.
Well,
I tested only pushing the button. That might be a small detail, but
no,
I
think it like I don't know if it's automatic because it forces you to respawn if you don't select an area. That's what I mean by automatic.
So I'd like someone to double check that because I did my fix and I tested pushing the button, but I didn't test the just not pushing a button and respawning. I think it just wouldn't let you respawn. That's what I think the behavior was.
Well, we'll figure it out. I mean, if fixed now, I would say that we could just push this, and then if it still crashes in public build on Steam, then we'll know, and then we'll just patch it again. I mean, that's kind of like what Steam is right now, is our testers, so that's why that's important. Any other potential outstanding issues? Anything that's like big a problem? This is the part where nobody says no.
No, all right, no, I can't think of anything.
All right, cool. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'll say what we need to do is we need to implement a short-term feature freeze and bring stable branch up to master. Either while, what's the opposite of including? Discluding? Excluding. There we go.
So I recommend the way we do this is we push a candidate to the dev branch on Steam, then we test that candidate on Steam using the dev branch on Steam, and then once that candidate satisfies our tests, we publish it also to stable.
Badinkles.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a good strategy?
Let me think about that. Should we do that now, or should we? I don't think there's any reason to have a dev branch now, because I feel like our entire game is dev branch right now.
Well, we still have it.
Yeah.
So we just...
Do we actually...
we already have it.
Common dev procedure is to have a production, staging, and dev branch.
Mm-hmm.
And you're...
Hold on, wait.
You're staging...
Donkey,
oh, okay.
Do we have a dev branch actively made right now?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well, let me go check.
I mean, on Steam, we push our RIP repo to Steam, and then we...
Okay. Yeah, let's just do that. All right. We need to create, if we have not already created, an open
development we and anyone else we want, we can just switch our client to our Steam
stable.
to use that.
There we go. The primary stable branch. SRD Donkey should get these two branches built and ready for incorporation into our pipeline. I love buzzwords, dude. Buzzwords is my shit. Oh my god.
I noticed, yeah.
Dude, it's great. I love it. I love buzzwording so hard. Dude, incorporation into our pipeline? Oh my fucking god, say it slower.
Syntax.
Syntax, my database algorithm. Oh, fuck yeah. Alright, cool. So we'll build, so Donkey, go ahead, get our dev branch built, and we're gonna maintain a dev branch and a stable branch, and we'll do the same thing that we've decided to do before, so we can have, but see, we're gonna have to keep this dev branch real short because I have a feeling that some of these hot fixes are going to be pretty damn important to push to stable. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about right now. I mean, we should set up a dev branch anyways. See, that's
I'm not talking about a dev branch on the Git. I'm talking about a dev branch on the theme, right?
Yeah, I know.
Just to be good.
Yeah. Oh, here, actually, you know, I'll specify. I'll need to create on Steamworks. There we go. An open development branch. See, I guess we could. Fuck it. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just switch to dev branch, and then I guess just test that. I kind of want to like speed line this patch onto live branch.
Hey, Drake.
Branch. Yeah.
Well,
what's up?
just test it on dev just to make sure it like opens, and then that should be enough. Really.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess that's true because we can. That's true. Yeah, all right, you're right. All right. Anything else? Any other potential outstanding issues that we need to cover?
You could possibly add a beta code to enable.
No, I don't want to add beta code right now. No. That's the last thing we need right now. Like, if we had like a bazillion players and we were trying to keep them out of dev branch, then yeah, sure. But we don't want to keep them out of. Like, we want people to test with us. So like, that's not.
No, I mean like if you're pushing updates to a development branch on Steam, you could just constantly update it. So it's like they don't have to worry about compiling the source code at all.
Possibly. That would be cool. I wish there. Hey, Donkey, is there a way to automatically push one Steam branch to another, or do we have to update them independently?
We can hook it to commit
publishing
scripts.
process is designed to be manual. At least
We can hook it to commit scripts.
So wait, no, but like, could we like commit to dev branch on Steam, and then once it's stable, we can just be like, "Yo, Steam, make dev branch live branch now," or like copy dev branch to stable. Can it?
You can. Yeah, you just go into the
really
repo thing, and then it says like push this to, and then you can select either dev or stable. Or you simply push the same thing to stable that you before push to dev.
I'm just gonna write generally research continuous integration. Once development Steamworks branch is built, check and see if we can create a love it pipeline. Actually, I don't think that's the right word. Let's see if we can
continuous integration pipeline procedure algorithm.
Yes.
So execution
good.
manual.
So good. Algorithm, the database. Algorithm, it's so hard. Generally research continuous integration once development Steamworks development branch is built. Check and see if we can create, or I don't know, what's another word? I don't know. Merge? No, but it's not a merge.
Manufacture.
Is it merge? No, it's not merge.
Construct.
God damn it, Astral, shut the fuck up. If we can push, oh, there we go. Push
we should be able to use commit hooks to just automate all of this.
Yeah, that would be great. Push development branch to stable branch within Steamworks internally without having to make an additional external commit. That would be great, because I would love. And that's actually another thing. We also still have to do that. Reconfigure packer to export, because I have to do this. Mushrooms gave me where I can do this. I just need to actually do it. Reconfigure packer to export Steamworks ready .zip files, or I'll just say distributions.
Do you want to start working on non-Windows 64 distributions? So like Windows 32, Linux.
No, that's a question. I don't know. I'll just Lexi.
I thought
what
I
is
had
your
that
opinion?
working.
Yeah. What is
and then we can automate. Okay. And then we can automate, like have a single command which builds all of them, and then we can upload all of them to Steam at the same time.
Kaba, I'm gonna need another developer online with me to verify that my changes are actually working, because there's something totally fucked on my desktop in which that the builds always work and always launch for me. Like I've devved my hard drive, apparently. Like shit just works for me because I got sick of it not working at some point and I don't feel like unworking it.
Developer environment. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's super easy to do. I'm gonna need somebody that has a Windows 32-bit OS. I'm going to need somebody that has a Mac OS. I'm going to need somebody that has a Linux OS.
Okay.
These can be VMs. I don't give a shit.
Wait,
I'm not setting them up right
hold
now.
Hold the phone. So are you saying that you have a potential solution for 32 and 64, and you need proper testers in order to help?
Yeah, basically,
ensure?
like
Okay,
it should be like 15 seconds of work. Like I've tried to push it into Trunk, but Mushrooms has said that it's broken every time I've done it, and I believe him.
Can I spell that he has? Fuck me.
Okay, bend over.
Okay, we will.
No, Lexi, not now. Believes that he has a solution for automated
Lexi, I really hope you're not
64
listening to Mushrooms, since he never actually tests something that he pushes or tests.
Shh, we're not
Be nice to Mushrooms.
We're
He does a lot of stuff.
shit here. We are professionals. We don't talk
Mushrooms
shit.
does a lot of work. Right? Be nice to him. He's a good guy.
Okay, there we go.
You've done a little work for us lately, yeah.
Yeah, Mushrooms have been good. He's nice to us. We're nice to him. That's how the niceness goes around. It's all good. Good vibes. Good vibes. Lexicon believes that he has a solution for automated 64-bit and 30-bit support. However, he needs developers to help test his environment and ensure that the solution is stable or even works at all, because he is shit. There we go. Sorry, I'll release that one.
Yeah, I got access to a Mac OS, and to an actual like Mac OS, as well as a Windows 32-bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Oh, that
I
sounds
have a
good.
headless Linux server that I can use, but it's headless, so not a lot of good for us.
Okay, so in general, we're gonna say, to sum up this, because I don't think there's anything else to go over for this. All the primary issues have been fixed. We have 2 outstanding implementations that either need to be frozen or completed. We have 1 potential outstanding issue with Archon that Cub is going to look into. We need to feature freeze, and we need to bring once we have tested master and ensure that the fixes that we fixed are actually fixed, we need to bring stable up to master, while either excluding or finishing the 2 outstanding implementations. Then we need to have Donkey create, or at least if it's already created, like maybe pretty it up, our Steamworks side of things. So we need to have our development branch and our stable branch. And I'd also love to look into seeing the continuous integration options we have there. So like if we could just push to development branch, and then it would be really cool if the only way to update stable was to push to development branch and then push from dev to stable, so that dev is always ahead of stable.
We can make that.
That would be sick. So we'll look into that, and we'll look into automating like the commit system to if we do that. And then we'll generally
we can get like nightly builds and everything else going.
Yeah, yes, that'd be great. And then so Lexi, I guess I can work on this with Lexi and probably Donkey. I don't know if Mushrooms would want to have a hand in this. This feels like the shit that he would like to have a hand in. But we're going to generally research continuous integration. Once Steamworks development branch is built, we're going to check and see if we can push automatically and anything. I'm sure, Lexi, I'm sure you're going to have a whole bunch of different ideas that I'm not even have considered right now that could be best practice. So we'll just do a general like focus group session on that. Then I need to reconfigure Packer and to export to Steamworks ready distribution packages, which is honestly kind of a prerequisite for the continuous integration solution anyways.
Yep.
So I need to do that. And then Lexicon believes that he has a solution for automated 64 and 32-bit support. However, we need developers to help test that environment. So I'm going to say Cubba can help test. Mushrooms can definitely help test if he's interested. And then if that isn't enough, then I'll see if I can get Donkey to help you as well. Does that work for everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, good.
My suggestion would be if somebody gives a shit about the Mac build, show up.
Yeah,
because,
there you go. Yeah, because
if somebody gives a shit about the Linux build, show up.
And it's like, well, we don't have enough fucking people that give a shit. So if you really want Mac support, come, and then we can like make sure that it works for Mac.
I need somebody with a Mac to make sure that my Mac support fucking works. Okay.
Exactly.
No one cares about Apple.
There we go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if nobody wants to show up with a Mac,
if somebody's a hardcore Linux user, like I fucking got Ubuntu on my goddamn laptop, and I would like to be able to like, then dude, then if you're a Linux user, then you should definitely be okay with coming and helping with this kind of shit, because you already have Linux on your computer, so like this is your shit, right? All right. So all right, that's good. All right, moving on. Discuss networking solutions and the progress on last meeting's topics. Oh god damn it! I have to leave it. Well, I have to. When do you have to go, Cubba? You have to. Oh, Cubba's already gone, isn't he? Shit. We lost Cubba.
Yeah.
That's probably because he has to go to. That's fine.
We can schedule a follow-up for talking about networking.
We always do. Yeah. Let's say so we've got the focus meeting on garbage collection for Lexicon. So we'll say do a follow-up focus group meeting on network solutions on Friday. We'll just postpone that because we have a whole bunch of really good ideas to go over. We have the system where we can stop synchronizing immobile objects. We can only synchronize local objects, which Cubba did research into and would require a major refactor of message processor, which is probably, even though it's
the whole fucking code base needs a major refactor.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know that sounds like a lot of work, but we kind of got to do it anyways. So, like, it's just kind of like, it's like that closet that just has a bunch of shit, and you're like, oh, I should probably clean this. And then somebody's like, well, in order to do this, we'd have to clean that closet. And you're like, oh, shit, well, okay. Yeah. so
I've got a local change that I'm working on right now that should be able to kick that off, I think.
Yeah. So that'll be good to look into. We can just postpone that to Friday. Lexi actually had some updates on the deterministic physics system for Box 2D, which would be really cool because it's like basically client-side prediction, but apparently it's not as strong as you thought it was, but it still is pretty fucking good. Is that like the
It's loosely deterministic, which means that depending on your hardware, you'll get different answers, but those different answers won't become noticeable for 5 to 10 seconds.
But that's fine. Yeah, but that's fine because it doesn't matter because 5 to 10 seconds is still better than the 60.
It means we have to use a slightly different approach, which means we have to fully resynchronize every 2 or 3 seconds instead of being able to rely on things that don't change regularly. Like, okay, we set this, we can just forget about it. No, we can't just forget about it. We still have to sometime in the next 3 seconds make sure that it gets updated.
But FYI, everybody that's been talking about lag and Iron Armada, this is why we're kind of not looking at or like talking about or like even caring about that yet, because the point is that in order to get Iron Armada to work right now, we kind of basically just brute force it, where we calculate everything and we synchronize every single little detail over the network to every single client. So if you don't have a good enough internet connection to play, you're just gonna have lag because like it just is sending so much fucking data. And that's also why we only have 16 players right now on our server. The only thing, like, you could have 200 player servers if you have like a server that has like a ridiculous fucking amount of bandwidth, because we're literally just telling the server to just send fucking everything. We're like, just literally send everything 60 frames a second, just all of it. And obviously we haven't even attempted at network optimization, but there's so many things that we could do right now that just even doing like one of these, if we did it right, would have like an exponential impact on the amount of players that you can have. Like the idea is that it runs as a lockstep server at the moment. Yeah. Which means there is no favorance, which is, I think, a good thing. It doesn't favor the attacker. It doesn't favor the defender. You know, it's balanced. It's good.
Yeah, it works. You click, it sends the click to the server processes it.
Yeah. So right now the goal is just to get the game like perfectly working the way that we want it to work. Like, get all of the things that are the basics that we want to have in the game there, and then when that's done, once that game is like at that bare minimum when we're like, okay, all the basic physics systems are working, all of the basic like infantry mechanics where you can get on and off ships are working, all of the like anything even remotely related to just like building ships, moving ships, all the fundamental mechanics are done, which they're pretty much almost there. Once that all is done, then we can actually start focusing on optimization. And since we have literally not done any of that on purpose up to this point, as soon as we start that, there will probably be like huge swaths of improvement out of nowhere where you could get, because I mean, if Cubba, there's some theories we have right now. If Cubba actually implements some of the systems that he's been theorizing, where you have a client and the client only synchronizes objects that are in your immediate vicinity instead of every single object on the server, period, that could by itself open up the amount of players that you could have on a server, maybe not infinitely, but like by a huge margin. Because then
never say infinite.
I never say infinite, because it's actually impossible. But see, I didn't say infinite, Lexi. I said not infinite, but by a huge margin. See, I was mindful.
The lawyer's kicking in.
The lawyer's kicking. I'm gonna get Sean Murray'd super hard. But what you could do is only synchronize objects that are next to your immediate vicinity, which means instead of the problem being, oh, you can only have a maximum number of players on a server, it'll kind of change and be like, oh, you can only have a maximum amount of players next to you. Or, like, that's going to be the problem. Where, you know, if you have a big cluster of players, that's a problem. But you could have, like, a shit ton of players, like, all spread out. Kind of like, I guess PlanetSide 2 kind of does
I was going to say, I was about to cite an example in PlanetSide 2 where the more players there are, the less you can see. So you can't see 200 yards when there's 200 players immediately next to you because you will only ever see 200 players.
Yeah, exactly.
So if there's 500 players, you're still only going to see 200. And it sucks because those other 300 can still kill you. Yeah. But you can't see them.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a whole new bag of worms by itself that we will get into, but we'll get into when all the fundamentals are done. All right, so I'll say, well, Cub is gone, so we can't really discuss the oxygen system. I'll just say for oxygen systems, Cubba will be preparing a design document.
I had a question with the oxygen systems, actually.
Don't even ask it, because I just had this meeting with Cubba the other day, and he has a whole bunch of really...
This is about hardware.
Hardware?
Yeah, hardware. Are we okay with mandating graphics cards on the servers?
And why? Are you asking because of some kind of like particle system or like some?
No, because of being able to utilize a GPU. So atmospheric systems are really, really basic, but they require a shitload of operations. So every single tile on the entire map needs to update, but they update independently, which is what a GPU is like stupid good at doing.
Well, no, so that's what we were discussing with Cubba. So we could use GPU for a whole different kind of implementation, but the implementation that we were talking about with Cubba that he's going to implement is not only do we kind of already have it implemented into the game using the destruction mechanic that we have for ship splitting, but it's also really like efficient. It's more simplistic, so it's more like FTL, so it's not going to be like Space Engineers or something like that where it like simulates the fucking like pressure and volume and shit. Like, well, we don't need that. Like, we don't give a shit. Like, we just want to have it so it's like, oh, hey, your ship is depressurized, or oh, hey, there's a hole and you like get blown out of it. We don't want to like be like, all right, this fucking square meter is like this many fucking thingies. Like, it doesn't matter. So he's got to, I know you want that shit, but like, you know, but we'll have to talk about it. I mean, if there's like if there's a way to do it with GPU that ends up actually being more efficient just because of the way that you execute it than the way that we were looking at doing, then hell yeah, I'm down. But the way we have now,
it comes more down to the fact that we can make some things that look really fucking awesome and feel really fucking awesome with using a GPU to do the processing for
where you actually have like the stuff like actually spew out into space where
where it's like you know, you can go through and you can simulate every single individual entity that's getting sucked out of an airlock at once and not worry about the processing time because each one is simulated independently.
We've just got, I guess that's the big difference, because we have like a super ghetto way to do it that would be totally convincing.
I am A-okay with ghetto rigging.
What we can do is we can make it so, like, let's say you're next to a vacuum, or like you're next to a block that's next to a vacuum. If you remove that block, it'll just say, hey, the player in this vicinity, because I was next to a vacuum, the players in my vicinity, I will now force into jetpack mode. So you can't, like, and then for a second it'll just, like, apply a force, and you'll just, like, go towards the hole. Yeah. But it won't.
There's also
be,
other
like,
benefits
dynamic.
If we're able to mandate that the servers need a GPU, there's a lot of stuff like that's gonna open up a lot of processing possibilities for us.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll play around with it. Cubba's not here, otherwise I'd want to get into that. So we'll just say we'll leave that to Friday.
It's just it's a really strict hardware requirement to put on because it's going to really restrict the number of servers that can host. Like, I can't host a server anymore if we require a GPU because my server doesn't have one.
Oh, you know, that is something, but you see, that's something to take into consideration.
It is. That's why I'm mentioning it, you doofus.
Oh, I see. Well, I see. For some reason, I thought you were talking about mandating a GPU client side, but you're right. It would be a server side thing because the game has so many calculations server side that it would.
Yeah, the server would need to have like a CUDA compliant core or something like that, so that we can actually do our math in shaders. We can use compute shaders then, and that's where we get like really, really fancy looking things. Like,
one second,
I have to go get
my wait, hold up, stop. I have to go get my laptop battery or my live stream PC is gonna die. One second, I'll be right back. Everybody chill out. Don't talk shit about me while I'm gone. I know you're going to though.
Right,
yeah,
so
Lexicon.
Gone.
That would be perfectly. I've sort of been modifying some code for it since I have like 3 Tesla V100s in one of my servers.
Yeah.
That would be excellent running the servers off those.
It would. Like,
this is how powerful a Tesla V100 is?
Well, we were using GPUs to do. So I come from an algorithmic trading background, right? And we were using our GPUs to do like millions of calculations a second, and it was crazy the things that we could do with it. And now just think about putting that on a server where, okay, every single player, we can load so much data onto a texture and hand that off to a GPU and be like, hey, process all of these at once. And we can do that.
Yeah, I come from a neural networking and AI standpoint.
Yeah, we were really heavily getting into that right as I was getting out the door was the AI and the machine learning stuff. And like all the machine learning, like this if we can mandate GPUs, it does restrict our potential server hosts a shitload. Like, I don't want to underestimate that. Like, well, it doesn't restrict you. That's great. But it's going to restrict like 90+% of our server hosts because 90% of your server hosts are headless servers. They don't have GPUs available.
I could probably host like 32 servers or maybe upwards to like.
Maybe. How much VRAM does a Tesla have?
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna have to go check.
I would guess it's probably like 5 gigs. But regardless, that's great. Do you have the bandwidth to host it also? Because we have to put these in data centers.
Oh, yes, I do.
So you have gigabit? You have gigabit fiber line that's got a 9 nines of reliability?
Yeah, he's got crazy shit. He'll be good for. He'll be great for like testing our. Because
I'm not used to talking to people that have 9 nines and gigabit. Like
no, he's got insane shit. So the cool thing about him is that we can, if we ever have something where we'll be like, we want to test and see if this works, but like the only way we could test it is if we had a fuck ton of bandwidth and/or like CPU power. Then we just call him and be like, "Yo, Astral, can we test like 200 players on your server?" Like
personally, I would love to mandate GPUs as a server requirement because look at it this way. Like your average schmuck wants to host a server. They have a computer.
That's true. Because then the only people that are going to host servers are going to be people that don't have shitty servers.
No, the people that want. So like my desktop has a GPU in it, right? I've got a GTX whatever the fuck number in it. I'd bet probably 80. I mean, we could check the Steam surveys, but I would bet probably 80% of people have a GTX card, which means it's CUDA compliant.
Mm-hmm.
We can use their CUDA card to host the server. So somebody wants to just launch the server on their desktop. That's fine. We can do that.
Well, that's more for like I guess whenever I think of server hosting, I think of more like dedicated servers and like people.
Well, okay. There's 2 types of people in this world. There's the people that are going to download the tool and just try to fucking launch it on their home computer, and they're going to get really pissed, and they're going to go on the forums, and they're going to cry babies.
That's true. And we're going to be like, why the fuck aren't you running on a dedicated server?
So
that's why it's called a dedicated server.
So if we can, but their computer has a GPU, so we can be like, it'll work for them, and that's fine. And then there's the people like you and I who are like, okay, we need a dedicated host for this. We need to pay money for this. This is not a free service, and we recognize that.
Yeah.
And we say, you need to make sure you are renting a server that has access to a GPU that's CUDA compliant, that has at least these specifications. And that's not a problem. So I think that kind of hits both player bases. What's up?
That's true.
DM.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the focus meeting for AI on Friday as well, because that is Kava's project and he has class right now, which is fine. Okay, so that actually moves us on. We're gonna talk about the general roadmap, features, and community input. So actually, I'm just gonna open this up because I've gotten a whole bunch of different suggestions. I had somebody that the other day, they were like, I thought this was gonna be an RPG, and I was like, oh well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it doesn't. What does everybody expect out of IA? Like if this was the kind of game that you were like, oh man, I've got full control of this and I can make it what the hell I want it to be, like what is the game that you want it to be?
Server to server jumping.
And then we'll literally I'll just start doing polls and votes, because obviously we have the idea that we want it to be, but I'm also not against a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, I have a whole bunch of different things that I would love to have it be, and obviously a bunch of the developers on here have different things that they want it to be, and we would obviously come to that decision ourselves. Like we would talk internally and be like, all right, hey, let's do it this way. But at the same time, I'm not against doing it some of the ways that the community wants it to do as well. Like if we were let's say this goes down like this. Let's say that it turns out that we can't get let's say that the game plays best at 10v10 players. You know, it turns out that it's kind of like it's a good competitive style game, and we could actually create a mechanic where you have a server, and then we have a multiplayer campaign, something similar to like, you know, Red Orchestra 2's multiplayer campaign system or whatever, where you have a battle, and then in between battles you have like a star map, and, you know, Team Blue owns, you know, these planets, and Team Red owns these planets, and you each team votes on the planet that they attack, and then you have you attack the planet, and then you have a battle. You take whatever resources or salvage or whatever you get from the battle, go back into the strategic map at the end of it, then you buy new ships, etc. like that, and then you have another battle. That would be a really simple, like, competitive mechanic that would work really, really well. Hold on 1 second, I have to... People calling me. So that's one way that we could do it. But, you know, another way that we could, because some other people are like, well, you know, I would really love this game to be kind of like a single player, or maybe not necessarily a single, like co-op, where you have a ship and then you're fighting off like drones. And other people are like, well, I want it to be more kind of like a, you know, like a free-form game where you know, like it's kind of like not necessarily MMO, but, you know, you've got your ship with your 4 buddies and you're meeting. Maybe what's a good example? Like Sea of Thieves is doing this, where you've got your ship and you go around and you have like factions and clans and stuff like that. And as far as, like, you know, will we have 1,000 players or will we have 20 players? That's all dependent on, you know, what we discover we can do technically. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're working on right now which will affect how many players we'll have in the server. But we have design plans for the design is almost completely independent of that, because we have different ways that we could make this game that would be good no matter how you slice it, whether it's a small scale competitive game or kind of like even a small scale like exploration game or whatever. And what is everybody's thoughts here? I'll say this: everybody join the server right now, because we're gonna do this. Give me let's do a straw poll.
Oh, join the Aegis server, because I can.
No, not that server. Join Discord. Join the Discord. There should be a link for everybody watching the live stream. Join our Discord server, because I'm gonna post this in Discord. We're gonna do this right now.
Oh, we are live.
Because I need people to benchmark.
So let's say this. What are all the different? So we've got what kind of game do you want Iron Armada to be? And I'm gonna say, I'll say competitive esports style game. And to be honest, there's also no reason that we couldn't do all of these. Like, we could just have game modes and stuff where you just choose one. But I just want to get like kind of a general idea of what people are looking for. Cooperative. Let's see, I would say exploration / oh, damn it.
Drake.
What's up?
I really do need people just to go on the Aegis server, see how much bandwidth it's going to use now.
We'll do that. We'll do that. We're not going to do that right now, but we will do that. Let's see, I was going to say multiplayer, factions, let's see, freeform. I'll say actually maybe factions, roleplay. What are some other options that people have been suggesting? And write in AI chat, please.
Ship calls.
IA chat channel. No, that would be like the first one. That would be like competitive esports, teams versus teams. That's what that would be. I'll just say, like, Teams versus teams.
I don't know. I've already ranted about what I think.
No, I know. We already know. Your version would be kind of more like the cooperative exploration survival kind of game, even if it's not like completely open-ended and it's more like, you know, scenario focused where you have like a scenario.
My ideal game would be much more focused on like small team and like fighting another small team that's trying to salvage or steal the same ship as you.
Yeah.
So
like a combination,
like very tactical.
Yeah.
You know, think like.
But that's like sub design. We're kind of trying to like get a general.
Yeah.
Larger.
I'm here. I will make things happen. Whatever you guys want, I make things happen. I get things done.
What's another example of something? I guess Eve. Eve isn't really a great example. Well, let's see. That's not a great. Here, we'll just start with this, and then we can narrow it down. All game modes could be supported. Let's start with this, and then I just want to get everybody's vibe, because you're right. We could just make it so every single version is supported, and I would like to have it be like that. Maybe in the future it'd be kind of more like Gary's mod, where it's not like, you know, the Gary's mod. So we'd have a base game. But every single server owner, if they wanted to, they could just make it be whatever they want it to be. And we would support that. So we could help you have it be, so if you want to have like a tight competitive mode, you can have that. If you want to have like an open style, you know, thing. So let's look at these results. Go vote, go vote, go vote. Your mode would be the factions roleplay, like Planet Side or something like that.
Oops, not found.
What isn't found?
The straw poll you just posted for some reason.
Oh, well, I have it.
It works for me.
It works for me.
Oh, it just says error 404 for me.
That's because you are from Brazil. Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Nope, another person confirmed.
You click it on the one from the live stream, I guess, because I'm not posting there.
Someone posted and Glaze posted in.
I posted the link in the live stream, yeah. If it doesn't work.
Here.
Maybe that's why. Go with Discord.
Yeah, it does say not found. Try the you need to redo the link in the live chat.
Yep, fixing that.
Go on, we need more factions roleplay votes.
See, I'm down for the factions roleplay. I mean, that was kind of like the original idea, you know, like you have it so, you know, you join with like 4 other people, you got your little ship, you go around, you can like board other players' ships and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Foxhole.
Yeah, Foxhole is a good.
Version.
Foxhole would be good, but you see, Foxhole is kind of like a combination. I think if we were to do it like Foxhole, we'd have it to be a little bit more open. So players would create their own factions and stuff like that. Maybe we could even make it so there's only so many factions allowed or something like that, and that would actually be pretty interesting. Oh man, that actually would be really interesting. We could have it so there's like, you can only have 3 factions at a time, and then there's like 3 factions, and then there's like factions that are not main factions, or like 3 factions and then pirates. And then if you have like a certain group that starts getting like big enough, they can actually overthrow one of the main 3 factions and then become one of those factions. That would be interesting.
That sounds good.
But we do need a very big map.
Well, see that but you see the problem is here's what I don't want. Let me put it this way: I don't want to have a game where everybody can make their own factions all the time, because then you'll just have a bazillion little factions, and all that'll happen is that the amount of players that are on the server will, like, let's say you have a 100 slot server. Well, sometimes you'll have 80 players that'll be one faction, and then they'll all log off, and then later it'll switch, because then you'll have 80 players of another faction, and then it'll just kind of change like that. Whereas if we kind of mandate only a certain amount of factions, so you don't have everybody just joining, creating their own faction all the time, so they actually have to choose sides. But if they want to have their own faction that is like a main faction, they can do it. It just requires a lot of work. Like, we're gonna have to have something like that, because I don't want it to just boil down into fucking anarchy. Like, there should be some kind of structure.
Yeah, true. But we'll also need a bigger map if we're going to handle factions.
Oh, bigger maps are easy. The map size is not a problem. Now, the amount of players is obviously something we're going to have to work on. But map size, we could... The borders that are in the game right now are artificial. In fact, we could release a in fact, we probably should. We could probably make like a config file where you can literally just turn off the borders. Because if you turn off the borders, you can literally just fly forever in any direction. That is not a problem at all. Because you think about it, like, there's no fucking, like, in our game, there's no like terrain data or anything like that. Like, it's space. Like, you literally you could just press a button and just be like, all right, you can just fly infinitely and whatever the hell direction you want.
It's like a 2D map, so there's nothing really restricting except for artificial walls. So.
Lexi's got some ideas for big world systems, but I would say right now I just want to kind of like we'll get everybody's like input on like what, and then we'll prepare Friday. We'll have like we'll have an involved kind of like discussion on what we want to do, like in how we're going to accomplish it technically. Right now I just want to see. So this is kind of what I'm liking seeing this. So obviously a lot of people are really. They want the exploration survival mechanic, and they want the factions roleplay mechanic. Keep in mind, the team versus team system that we have in the game right now is almost primarily there only for testing. It's really good because it's round-based, so it like resets all the time, so lag doesn't become an issue. And it's really good to just get people into the game and get them started, so they can sit there and test all the systems. Like, oh, I've got a ship, and so because we didn't want to make like a sandbox mode where everybody, you know, you get in and then you can't even build a ship because everybody's like either killing you too much or it's lagging too much. Like, we wanted to create a quick and dirty mode that allowed people to get into combat and test the game the way we envision it being when it's done. Like, we wanted to have like corvettes and fighters and stuff like that, and have a game mode where people are playing as corvettes and fighters, like in quick, because that's what we want to do in the end. Like, even if we have an open-ended factions roleplay style game, we want the combat to kind of feel like how it feels right now. So yeah, all right. I'll get that here. I'll just keep this. I'll keep this up so people can keep voting. But I definitely like the large. So here, I'll just go devlogs. Oh wait, no, roadmap. At everyone, vote for what you would generally like to see in Iron Armada. I'll put that there. You guys can keep voting. That sounds pretty good. So I'll just say. Whoa, what happened? Oh, it split it. Oh, stupid. So here's I'll give a general overview of what we're looking to do right now in the short term, because obviously long term is like a completely different kind of thing. But for the short term, we'll say we want to include a single player mode in the following weeks, so that you can shoot at drones and explore the game without multiplayer. We want to test and slowly start incorporating more advanced systems such as fuel, fuel, ammunition, shipyards,
where are we going to get fuel?
Advanced power Well, see, exactly. That's why we don't have it in the game yet, you know, because obviously if we put in fuel, that should be its own thing that's going to require... Like, we want to integrate these mechanics meaningfully. So before we put in fuel, we're going to think about that. Like, okay, so how do you get fuel? Is there going to be refueling? Are you going to mine it from asteroids? How do you transfer fuel from one ship to another? Can you have, like, a tanker ship that then transfers fuel to another one? How are we going to support that? We'll think about all those things. Will there be first person? Yes, obviously. This is going to be a first-person shooter. 2D first-person shooter. The entire game looks like a flat line. Just like one big flat line. Here, look. I'll give you an overview.
Just rotate to the left. Oh
yeah,
god,
yeah,
I
there you
can't see
go.
him.
This is what it's going to look like. Like when you go into first person and you're just gonna, the whole world's just gonna be a line. There you go, like that. Easy, easy for fucking easy. See it, etc. However, we want to incorporate these features slowly and make sure that they fit into the gameplay that we want to incentivize. Large-scale ship combat, tactical coordination, etc. Like, basically, because look at it this way. We used to be a space engineers community. One of the reasons we had so much trouble with space engineers is because they would implement these really cool features, but they would do it in like a sandbox kind of way. They would implement something like, you know, fuel, but they wouldn't think about the gameplay implications that it would have. So now, instead of you actually getting into a game and having fun, you're getting into the game and being like, God damn it, my ship is broken, all of my creations don't work, it's like I can't buy ships, I can't do anything, I can't fall, I'm falling on a fucking planet, there's nothing here, there's no bases that I can buy fuel from, mining from asteroids takes way too fucking long, like all of my ship creations are like, they're not optimized for all of it, like it's just, it was really frustrating. And we don't want to do that. We want to have it so, for instance, like if we put in fuel, we want to have a support structure for fuel. So like acquiring it is either easy or makes sense. Refueling other ships makes sense or is easy, or at least isn't prohibitively obnoxious. We want to make sure that even when we implement oxygen, we're going to make sure that the starting ships. So like for instance, when we implement oxygen, we're going to have it so your starting ships that you start with at the beginning of the game are going to be pre-built, so they already take advantage of the oxygen system. So you don't have to sit there at the beginning of the game and be like, okay, now I have to make my oxygen work, and like we're going to have it so it's complex and it's interesting, and the players that learn how to do this stuff more are going to be able to do more with it. But the players that have just come into the game right at the beginning, they're going to be able to experience the game without having to like sit there and read like a frickin' manual for, you know, 50 years before they can actually enjoy the game. That's kind of like the goal. So we're definitely gonna take it kind of slow. But yeah, there's 101% total on the poll. What are we talking about? Yeah, see, having an economy, stuff like that, those are all things we're going to take slow. In fact, we're kind of already thinking about that right now. So, like, let me put it this way. Let's say we were going to have an open-ended game mode. Let's say we have an open game mode where, you know, we have a faction system. Well, we're not going to just do that without testing the gameplay mechanics. Because we kind of tried to do that with Space Engineers. Like, you'd have a server, and you'd always have that hub that everybody spawns in at, and the hub would always be completely destroyed, you know, like, because everybody spawns in and then they just completely destroy the server hub, and it's like, you know, people are sitting there team killing all the time, and it just like, it turns into a clusterfuck. So for instance, if we were to implement like a full open world faction game, we would start experimenting with like, okay, let's say we have like a starter station. We would have it so the starter station's like invincible, but we'd have it so it being invincible doesn't affect gameplay, so it's not like obnoxiously. We would have it so players can buy ships. Why is my dog freaking out? We would have it so players can buy ships, and make it so it's a lot easier to acquire ships, but you can still build ships from scratch if you want. Just takes longer. Maybe isn't the best way to do it. All those things we're going to start taking into consideration. And I would say, what is, Lexi, do you have anything else to add, like long-term stuff that you'd like?
1 sec.
Yeah. We'll have to wrap this up here in the next like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty grandiose system for mine targeted the smaller engagements. Like I wanted to have really interesting, like 4-on-4 was what I was targeting with my designs. But it's like really instanced, like heavily instanced in that sense. But it's a lot more about like exploration and looking for things and finding content.
I think what would be cool is if we can have it so the 4x4 gameplay feels like what you wanted, where it's like, you know, but just
I think it's totally possible.
Yeah,
to have both.
I think so as well.
Like I think they can totally coexist. And as for like a general like development scheme, I'm a really big fan of having lots of really small, really tight systems. So like if you have a really, really solid projectile system and you have a really solid ammo system, and you start combining these systems where and you start getting the emerging gameplay that comes from having these really tight,
talking about this
really
the other day,
small
where you have
systems.
like you'll have like ships that are like ammo factories, and then you have like a system where you can store ammo, but it's like let's say we had like a conveyor system where you could build your ammo stores, and then you have an ammo factory ship that produces the ammo, and then in order to refuel your ship, instead of it being really complicated, we could just have a docking clamp. You dock to the clamp, and then if your ship has empty ammo containers, it automatically gets filled in instead of having to so you can combine those into really interesting combinations.
Yeah, a lot of the ways that I design my systems are based on stories. So like the story that I came up with for that was I wanted to have a bomber fighter, like something that can shoot like capital sized torpedoes or something, like fuck your shit up, but it's just like piloted by one dude, little thing. It can't make that, so it's got to like redock with its capital ship. It's got to redock with its mothership to reload that. But I wanted players to be involved with that, so it's you have the mothership that's producing these big ass fucking torpedoes, and you've got the little bomber thing that can only carry one of these, and he's got to fly his way up to the other big ship, and you know, things like that. So like story driven,
like competitive, almost like competitive balance in an open world game, if that makes sense at all. But yeah,
sort of. And that's what I really like about it is when you find a combination that's totally busted, you can normally just tweak one little thing, because that busted thing is normally an amalgamation of a bunch of little systems that are grouped together that form this complex result. So you can just go and you can just change one little thing and kind of remove that broken ass piece from existence.
So I would say now, if you guys want to help test, the idea is when you boot up the game, play the game now and kind of like pretend that what you're playing here. Like I'll just boot it up right now actually. Why games, please. Armada. How long it takes to launch on Steam. See if it's faster. Probably isn't. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute everything so I can. Sorry, my wife called because babysitter's coming to watch my son. So I have to wrap this up eventually, but here, like, just really quick, let me join this server. So the idea is we got holy shit. How many objects did you just put? Okay, hold up. I'm gonna go to the normals because I don't know what he's changed, so we'll go to this one. So like when you play Iron Armada right now, we want you to play this game even though we've made this competitive game mode for testing, like that's the whole point. We want this competitive game mode because all the other features aren't done yet, obviously. Like if we were to make an open-ended faction game, like it would just, the gameplay would break down, obviously, because we're not ready for that yet. But we want to show, we want people to test the game now as if that is the end goal. So when you play the game right now in these ships, we want you to think about it as if you were playing the game in an open-ended game mode. Because think in the future, this is what we want the game to feel like. We want you to be flying around with 4 other guys in an open-ended world, but instead of you fighting in a team v team game mode, in the future we want this exact same experience, but you know, you're transporting supplies from a planet to another planet, or you're going to hunt down pirates in an open-ended world, or you know, you're doing this or doing that. Obviously we don't have those things in yet, and they wouldn't be balanced, and it would just turn into this clusterfuck of a sandbox server if they're not balanced correctly. But you can see here, you know, I'm just joining this here. Actually, I can't. I wish I could go into radar. Maybe that's something we can change in the future. But this is what we want you to be thinking while you're playing the game. And if you test the game that way and you kind of keep that in mind, that's going to help us like kind of start moving towards that end goal, that end design of having that be in the game. But yeah. And
those like little mini stories, like, oh, I was hauling supplies with my friends and we got ambushed by other players.
That's the shit.
That's like the perfect thing. Like that's something that we can take and we can design systems that will facilitate that will force that to happen.
See, because right now we kind of have like we have like cheats right now. See, like we have it so right now, because right now you can buy every single item in the game pretty easily. You can instantly turn into any class, and we kind of have these cheats in order to allow you to test the game in a way that makes more sense and is faster in the game's current state. That kind of mimics what we're trying to achieve in the long term. But in the future, we would love to have it so instead of just clicking a marine, you actually have weapons on your ship that you have to carry around, and then you actually have to keep like stockpiles of different like armor for your marines and stuff like that, and actually have like equip your character with different things. But obviously that's going to take a little bit more time to get to. This is actually a really nice ship that you guys have made. This ship is really cool. And then eventually, see, actually another thing, if you guys want to save your ship, just press the B button. Chickens ship shit. This is kind of like the oh wait, I think you can't put that in there. Chicken, save that. There we go. So if you want to, you can save your ship designs. It's kind of like a basic system in the future. But in the future, we want to be able to have it so players can design their ships, and they can have that ship be their ship permanently, that they can expand upon. We have different ideas on how we're going to do this. For instance, I think one of the things that we were thinking about doing is having it so you can actually store your ships at planets. So if you're friendly with a planet, you can take your ship and then you can dock it at the planet or store it at the planet while you're offline, so it can't be fucked with or touched. So then when you come back in, you can continue playing with your same ship and expanding and making it better, etc., 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 without having to worry about. But you know, those things will actually have to come with time. But yeah, all right, that is it. I'm gonna say, does anybody have any open discussion things they want to bring up while we leave? Open discussion.
Meaning like test the Aegis server for
anything. So networking. I'm gonna say Astral wants everyone to test the Aegis server. He can potentially get past 100 players, and if we wanted to test large scale modes like faction warfare, using his server to test would be ideal. However, we need to get more people playing on it to see if it actually works first. Anything else? Because that would be cool. Like, if Astral can actually support 100 players, then we'll be like, oh shit, so we actually have a place where even pre-network optimization, we could start testing on Astral server to start testing, like, you know, game modes for you know, like the trading or large maps.
Pretty much, if they help out, you'll probably speed up development for more features that other people would want.
Exactly. Talk to Satori. Yeah, Astral, talk to Satori. He's super down to help, and he's probably got a lot of friends that can help as well. So you guys can start doing that. Anything else? Any other projects? Any other ideas?
I'm always looking for gameplay stories.
That's true. Yeah,
those are basically user stories. Like, what do you want to be able to do?
If
anyone that facilitate those
has any ideas on things they would want to do in Iron Armada, and I'll put in gameplay stories, talk to Lexicon.
Yeah, specifically like gameplay stories, not just like ideas. Like, I wish I could shoot a cat at somebody. I don't give a shit that you want to shoot a cat at somebody. I want to
be like, oh man, I want to have 5. You know, I really love, like, for instance, here's a story that I have. I really love Firefly. I would really like to have 5 of my friends have a ship where we go accepting bounties from planets and accepting odd jobs in order to make money, transporting cattle from one planet to another planet, and then have the cattle be inside of our ship, and then if they get depressurized, the cattle explode. You know, like shit like that. You know,
like that's amazing. Exactly. Like right there. Like there's so many little things you can pull out of that. And like, okay, what can we can break that down into microsystems and put pieces of that in there. Like, oh, we can make the cargo depressurize. Oh,
yes,
we could do that. Like, we could make that a thing, and then we can make, you can pick up bounties from planets. Oh, okay, and now one of the rewards could be cattle, and now, you know, you can start changing these little systems.
Can't just make those things at first, but just getting an idea of what everybody is thinking about, we can then start to take a step back and look at the meta mechanics that we have to build in order to support those systems. Because we could potentially, like the bounties for planets, we could potentially make an entire planet system that doesn't just support bounties, but also supports trading and all, and we could hit like 50 birds with one stone by incorporating one single feature. But we have to know what everybody's thinking first. Anything else?
I use a stone. Why not use a railgun?
I'm 7 minutes late to this thing. Any other open discussion, ideas, whatnot?
Sounds good.
Gonna take that as a no. If anybody wants, talk to Lucas. He does a lot of our artwork, and he always has a lot of cool ideas. Here, actually, Lucas, post some of the stuff you've been working on right now in IA chat. The new big things. We're actually working on a we are currently working on a prototype for mega tile blocks, aka capital ship blocks, that will
I have to go.
Okay, peace, dude. Allow the ability to create much larger starships. But we want to see if they are feasible, make sense in-game first. So that's something we're also working on. Post them the giant cannon that you created. So we're creating like larger cannons, larger thrusters and stuff that allow players to build.
Put one to the side for them to check the scale.
Yeah. So we'll have to check with that. Alright, but that is it. If anybody has anything else, make sure you can either message me or Lexi or post in IA chat or post in the forum. Seriously, go to Steam, go to the store, and then just start, if you want to leave a comment on our, updates, if you want to go to the discussions, just start discussing things and just leave suggestions here. Leave bug reports, please. And then also, if you want to help out the game and you want to leave a review, feel free to leave a review. That also helps out a considerable amount, obviously. I think we actually had, we had 2 more people leave reviews today, so thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. And that'll obviously help us get more testers, because we want to have more testers, we want to have more people in core, because obviously if we're going to make this game be better, then having more people giving their thoughts and pitching in is what's going to make that go faster and be better. Also, if you're a programmer and you want to help, our entire code base is open to the public. So if you want to look at our commits, look at the work we're doing, if you want to look at how our code base is structured to find ways that you can maybe help, if you're somebody that is experienced in Java and you know a lot about God knows what, some kind of specific subsystem that we just aren't experienced in, that you're just like, oh my god, these guys could really use this and they don't even know about it yet, hit us up. That happens all the time. That's how this game was made. We've had that happen so many times over, and any kind of like input that we have from the community helps a lot. But besides that, I've got to go. I got to watch my son. It's my wife's birthday, so I've got to go do stuff. And then we're going to have another meeting on Friday at 4. So if everybody wants to show up for that, we have these 3 times a week, unless we say otherwise. And then, of course, we try to have testing on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4. So feel free to show up for that as well. And then we'll kind of have like larger, gameplay sessions and whatnot, so we can actually have testing and whatnot. And hopefully a patch is going to come out soon, fixing some of the last few issues. We'll probably have that hopefully fixed by Monday, but no promises. We got to get some of those continuous integration things fixed up. If anybody wants to help with continuous integration, hit me up. And then besides that, I'll see you guys next time. All right, love you. This will be up. I'll post an announcement. I'll probably post an announcement on Steam, including the minutes for this, like the log of what we talked about, and also posting the live stream, so you guys can review that if you want. And I'll see you